Hey, we're going to give you a quick follow-up on our CR85 trail bike. This is the big wheel super mini bike. We got about a couple years in this bike with Junior riding this thing, putting her through the ringer. We're going to give you the pros and cons, everything we did to this bike. We've gone through 2 sets of tires in this thing in the last couple years. On the trail riding, we don't keep as quite as good of fresh tires as we would if motocrossing. The motor's proven to be flawless. We haven't had to rebuild the bottom end once on this bike. We've rebuilt the top end a few times, and that's the extent of our maintenance on this bike. So right here we found a little issue. When you got an aftermarket pipe, a large tank, clearances can be really tight. We had to stuff a piece of rubber hose in here to prevent any burning to the fuel tank. The rear brake pedal on this CR85 is a bit vulnerable. It does hang out, and the bike is lower on the trails than any big bikes, so it's been bent out a few times. The IMS pegs have proven to be very good, along with the IMS tank. Other than fitting a little tight around a pipe, the tank has proven to be very well and last as long as any of our big bikes do on the trail, so our trails have never been cut any shorter because of the small tank on the bike. So as you can see, our Tusk D-Flex handguards have gotten quite a workout. Junior's dropped them quite a few times, and they're still holding up just fine. Obviously a must for any trail situation. If you don't want to be replacing throttle tubes, brake levers, clutch levers, it'll save you on the trails. The motor's proven very durable. We've done a couple top ends. This last time we even did switch to a 101cc big bore with Tom Morgan. So we've switched to that. Bottom line is the bike is still very pipey. It's meant to be a motocross bike. It's not a trail bike. We're always playing. We've added teeth to the gearing. We've gone up, and it still is riding a motocross bike on the trails. Even with the heavy flywheel, everything we do to the motor, it still wants to be wrung out like a full-on motocross bike. And so that's one of our big downsides to this build, is that there just isn't a good trail bike in this realm. The Moose straps by Tugger, front and rear, have proven to be a big help when trying to get them unstuck from any spot on the trail. Chain and sprockets have actually held up really well. Haven't had any issues there with just the trail use not being nearly as abusive as motocross. On the Honda CR85, where the pipe meets the cylinder, you get a lot of ooze coming out of there, very difficult to stop, siliconing it up and so forth. You can stop that. Same thing where the pipe meets the silencer and out of the silencer on slower trail riding, hard to do that. We've added an overflow bottle to this bike. It's been used many times, overflowing coolant when he overheats. Race Tech did stiffen up the suspension for the last year or so that he rode this bike, since he was getting so much bigger for the bike than was necessary. In our case, we had a large 13-year-old boy riding this bike and wasn't quite ready. Skills weren't quite ready for a larger full-size trail bike. So as you can see, it's not cut and dry. There's no easy answers. I think we did the best we could with this bike. I think there could be something better out there, and hopefully there will be someday, but for now, this is as good as we got.